In the second video on selecting models for phase melt equilibrium, we will discuss adding corrections for the effect of water that is present in a silicate melt on the crystallization temperatures that are calculated by the models. As discussed in the manual for Petrolog, very few of the available models incorporate the effect of water on crystallization temperature and composition of minerals. And that's a challenge if we want to model compositions which contain water. Let's say if we have a look at orthopyroxene as an example, there are currently 5 different models which can calculate the temperature of crystallization of orthopyroxene, and orthopyroxene is an important mineral in magmas that contain water. You can see that none of those models incorporate water into their formulations. You can see that here in the column W, no blue squares. If we look at olivine, only 2 of the models that are available on Petrolog incorporate the effect of water, and one of them, the Daniszewski 2001 model, is only applicable to the back arc basins and mid-ocean ridge basalt, so it's not really applicable to most of the water-bearing melts. So if we want to use a model that we believe can reproduce the crystallization temperature and the composition of olivine well, let's say we would like to use the model of Ford et al. From 1983, but we want to use it for a melt which contains water, we can introduce a correction. If we click on this column W, it will show you the available correction on Petrolog for this mineral. So for olivine, you can see there are several models that were published that express the changes in the crystallization temperature as a function of the water content. So these are the 3 models which are available for Petrolog, and this plot on the right actually shows you a comparison of those models. So these 3 models are the models which show the effect of water on the crystallization temperature, and they show you how much the temperature is decreased depending on how much water is present there. And you can see that there is difference between them, and you can decide which one you prefer to use. But also on this plot, at the top part of it, you can see the Petrolog default effect of water. So here is the Petrolog default temperature for olivine, for orthopyric plagioclase, orthopyroxene, clinopyroxene, olivine, and spinel, and other oxides. So when you decide what you can use, you can decide that you want to use Petrolog default, then you just click on this function here. Or you can choose one of the models. So if you keep clicking in here, you will decide which model you are going to use, set that correction. Or you can set your own correction if you know what the effect you think is. So you can either add a power function, then you need to enter the values for A and B coefficient for this equation, or you can use a polynomial function, and again you need to add A, B, and C values if you want to use that. If you want to add a model for plagioclase, then again there are 2 models available, and you can see the comparison between them. And you can again use Petrolog default, or you can use either a power function or a polynomial function. Let's say we would use Petrolog default in this case, and if we click OK, you will see that a letter C appears in here, and that indicates that the correction has been set. Now, importantly, if you change the model now, the correction remains. And it's important to remember that if you choose a model which already incorporates the effect of water, then that correction will be applied on top of the model. So this is something which is not suggested to do, but you can do it if you believe that that's appropriate. If you want to remove the correction, you need to click on this again and say remove. If you remove, you click OK, then letter C disappears, which means that correction isn't there. So if we set a correction and then click OK, so we select this model and we select a certain correction, this letter C here tells you that the correction is applied and that the currently selected model is the model of Aristotle 93. So to just demonstrate at the end how a set of selected parameters with the corrections applied may look, we can load the provided set of parameters for the modeling of island arcs. And what you can see in here, all the models which are selected, they actually don't incorporate the effect of water because there is no y anywhere in this column in here. Y would suggest that the model itself incorporates, but you can see that each mineral which we selected has a C in there, which means that the correction is applied. And if you want to see what the correction is that is applied, you can click in here, you can click in there, and you will see that in this particular case, petrolic default values is what was applied. And that's the end of the current tutorial.